Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Shit hitting the fan? You bet. Me exercising? Damn right I am. We're going to talk about fitness a bit, but we're going to talk about a lot of subjects. You know, yesterday I sat out in the sun and had a scotch and had a stogie, and I thought, man, blew an opportunity to get some exercise. Anyways, today we had some interesting things happen in the world, things which made me think we are in big trouble with shit hitting the fan. To start with, we're continuing to see the ridiculous politics. Right? And what that does is that incites, you know, makes people act and think violently. Not people like you and me, not preppers. We're just ready to defend ourselves. Rather, these socialist morons out here. Still, you know, where do we go from there? Well, there's a lot of, as far as I'm concerned, trouble that's brewing. One of the biggest stories today wasn't the fact that the stock market went up as much as it did, but rather why. And what's more troubling is why it didn't go down rather. So let's quickly talk about that. The Federal Reserve Chairman came out, did a nice speech and talk and interview with everybody there in the old press club. And what did they do? They backed off even further. That's right, they backed off even further from their claim that they were going to raise interest rates and continue. First they were at 4 times in 2019, then they dropped to 2, and essentially today they dropped us down to 0. You know, so the market went nuts. The reason why is, hey, they're not raising interest rates. Right, you can borrow money cheap. It's not going to keep getting more expensive, right? But why would they do that? That's the real shit problem there, right? The reason they're doing this is because the economy is slowing down. The Fed chairman, and I listened to his boring ass speech myself, so you didn't have to. He said there's problems in the EU, Europe. There's problems in China. And we've had our problems here, and it was interesting, his caveat was because of the government shutdown. He didn't want to talk about basically the American economy being crap. But it is going to crap. He knows it, we know it, everyone who's paying attention actually knows it. So the market reacted positively because they get cheap money to borrow. The negative side, the reason I say it should have gone down, is because it was an admission of weakness in the economy. Shit is going to hit the fan, and that is going to be one of the key components. The other key component, of course, is the social political dynamics that have been generated by the Democrats in their thirst and quest for power and their desire to destroy President Trump, right? They are going all out. Now, when we talk about the last political election, right, it was do or die time for conservatives and the Constitution. And our choice was Hillary Rodham, no fucking way will the Constitution survive her, Clinton, or Donald Trump, who promised to drain the swamp, build a wall, and help make America great again, right? So that's what he promised. So he ended up getting the call. 2020, we're going to have the same sort of dynamic, and that is you have one chance to make it. And if you elect Democrats, socialist, communist types, it's all over with. If we re-elect Trump in 2020, there's a chance right? I'd rather have a snowball's chance in hell than no fucking chance with a socialist. And that's what we're looking at, right? Is Trump actually going to do something? Is he going to actually use executive power and wield it to protect our nation, to protect us, and to protect the Constitution? We'll see, right? That remains to be seen. But the important thing for us now is the economy slowing down and the social dynamics are heating up. There is so much hatred out there that you would best start stepping things up. Now, if last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we got caught off guard, right? We said, oh man, I didn't know that, an EMP was coming, or I didn't have any idea that the grid going down would be a problem. I had no idea that blowing up seaports would strangle our country because of energy, right? So we could have forgiven ourselves for not being quite ready physically. But we've had plenty of time, all of us, me included, maybe you could say, especially me. So I'm trying to set a good example by doing this video and walking, right? We don't have an excuse for not being ready on every quarter. We've had a chance to buy all the food, right? We've had a chance to have all the water, shelter, clothing, medicine, right? Means of self-defense, have a plan. We've had a chance for all of that. But maybe under medicine, we should think in terms of being healthy. Right, starting last year, I took a more aggressive approach to staying in shape. Bicycle riding, taking mountain hikes, did a few good gadgets, gear time up on the mountain. But I want to tell everybody, you need to get in better physical shape. We don't have time once shit does hit the fan. Now, one of the things that I was living with, maybe you do this too, is I was thinking, when I was in my 20s, I would actually start doing an activity, climbing a mountain, pulling a fence up and down some rough property. And I was tired in 10 minutes, but by the end of the day, I was in better shape, stronger, faster than when I started, believe it or not. So I'm thinking, hey, I can still do that. Well, it's not the case. That was 20-something years ago for me. And getting in shape and then maintaining that kind of conditioning is not easy. So we need to, me, you, everybody, every prepper out there, we need to definitely get in good shape. Right? When shit hits the fan, it's not going to be a small affair. Maybe it is. Maybe it'll only be 1 week. But in that 1 week, you're going to need to be sharp in the head. You're going to need to be physically fit. You're going to need to be able to do whatever physical demands are there without flaw. Right now, if you want to take your chance and say, fuck it, I'll get off the couch when the lights go out, that's your business. My business is sharing with you an opinion that says, no, we don't have that kind of liberty. We are more responsible for ourselves, and so we need to get out and do this. Whether it's walk, run, bike, treadmill, elliptical, cardio is really important, as well as resistance or strength training. Right? It's going to be important. And this is kind of a two-step thought process here. Not only do we need to get in shape, but we have to have the appropriate clothing. Now, clothing I talk about, I did mosquito repelling clothing. I've talked about boots some. Talked about footwear. I've just talked about it. Right? But what do we do today? Well, the average human doesn't do a whole lot on their feet. Spend more of the day on our ass than on our feet. Unless you're a waitress. But your shoes are going to be what saves your life. Shoes or boots when shit hits the fan, because you're going to be running around in them. You need to have that. That is clothing. That is part of the shit hits the fan formula. You need to have at least one good pair of boots, or if you prefer, shoes. But they need to be rugged and tough, and you need to be able to stand in them all day. You need to be able to walk in them at least 5 miles, right? And not have your dogs barking and everything screaming in pain. The reason that's important is we don't know what's coming. You don't know if you're going to have to literally bug out of your place, right? Let's assume that there's a marauder gang of socialist idiots coming down your street. You've got all your food hidden away. You've got some sacrificial food, you know, kind of put in the obvious places. But you need to get away from a gang of roving idiots. You need to be out in front of them and stay ahead of them, right? And odds are the little socialist pricks are going to be younger, the more aggressive ones, which means they're going to be able to catch you unless you're in good shape, right? You need to stay ahead of them, work your way around them, outflank them, head back to your place of safety. That's just one possible scenario where I can point to that and say, we need to be in good shape, and you need to have proper footwear. Proper footwear. So your arches don't break down, right? So your feet don't get blisters because they're sized wrong. Very, very important. Our feet, right? Feet is what wins wars. Feet is what saves lives in wars. Right? You don't take care of your feet, you're dead meat. Right? And so I might as well throw in there good socks. Don't fuck around with cheap socks. Cheap socks slide on your feet, create hot spots and blisters. They're no good. You need to be good quality cushion socks that wick moisture away and protect your feet. Okay, we have got just some gnarly stupidity coming our way, folks. And it looks like all the components of the shit hitting the fan formula are coming into play. I was thinking at one point in my life that what's going to happen is we're going to have one thing happen. It's going to be an interruption in the food supply or an interruption in the fuel supply. And that's going to cause shit to hit the fan. And it could. But it looks like we're going to have the big enchiladas come down. Right? We don't have a blisteringly hot economy. And, you know, something else happens that causes shit to hit the fan. And they get everything fixed. Let's just say fuel supply. Let's just say the West Coast refineries all get hit by a terrorist. Right? That would fuck things up. But there's a good chance we could bounce back from that really quickly, really easily. Right? No problem. Well, that's still a possibility, always is. But it looks like we're going to have problems with everything. Right now, the OPEC is trying to, OPEC is the oil producing, exporting cartel, I think. Oil producers exporting cartel. Basically, it's a fucking gang of oil producing countries that try and rig the price and keep it up. They're all promising to cut production to get prices up. At the same time, they're all pumping and selling all they can because they're all fucking broke. Right? So they're creating two problems, maybe three with the situation. There's an oil glut, which could result in a crash and an oil shortage. Right? And something like that can also cause a war. Too much oil can cause a war as quickly as not enough. Right? Because when countries are broke, they're going to lash out at each other. Right? They're going to try and hurt each other to improve things for themselves. Human nature, part of history, happens with regard to history all the time. Every few years, there's a battle or a conflict or a struggle over energy, oil. All right, anyways, we've got the market coming down. We've got political uncertainty. We've got social factions fighting each other, political factions fighting each other, and religious factions just waiting to take it out on each other. All over the planet. Right? We have income being used to divide people. We have all of these problems. So you need to be in shape is the upshot today. You need to get out. You need to exercise. And I know for everyone who's sitting under that beautiful fucking polar vortex, you're not going to have that opportunity or you risk freezing your lungs from the inside. So don't do that, but be smart and start getting in shape. Right? If I had to throw my shoes on and walk 5 miles, I know I can do it. I know I can do it in about an hour. If I had to throw on a 50-pound pack and carry a rifle and a full load of magazines and go 5 miles, that would probably just about kick my ass. Right? I'm not that 19-year-old jarhead anymore. right? They can do that for 18 miles and laugh it off. Not that guy anymore. I could do it. I'm not going to be happy about it. Question is, can you do it? What kind of physical shape are you in? Right? If you're not wheelchair bound or have some other medical infirmity that keeps you pretty much stationary all the time, what kind of condition are you in? And the question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of condition do you need to be in if you take into consideration the 10 miles square around you? Really, what kind of condition? Right? Do you need to be able to walk 1 mile? Is that going to be enough to sustain you and get you out of trouble or get you into a better position? Or do you need 2 miles? Or do you need 10 miles? Right? Should you need to evacuate your area altogether on foot? Right? How much can you carry? All of these are measurements of physical conditioning. Right? And like everything else, as a prepper, we've got food, we've got water, we've got shelter, we've got clothing, good boots, right? You've got a means of self-defense. You've got a plan. The reason we're planning on doing well when shit hits the fan is because we're prepared, right? And we kind of laugh up our sleeve a little bit. You know, haha, dumbasses don't even know what's going on. Boy, are they going to be caught off guard. They didn't listen to us, right? We kind of have a little snicker. Right? They're going to have a hell of a fucking time. Now, how much better condition, overall condition, not just physical condition, but psychological condition will you be if you are physically in better shape, physically prepared, right? You get into shape where you're able to walk 2 miles, 3 miles, 5 miles at a brisk pace, right? How much better off are you going to be when shit hits the fan? Even if you don't have to go anywhere. Psychologically, knowing you can. Knowing that you have that ability, right? You're not trapped, right, in your own skin. You have the ability to move. It opens up options. It opens up options. And everyone says, hey, get out, take a walk. Go for a bike ride. All that fresh air will make you feel better. It does. The exercise helps you psychologically. The fresh air, psychologically. Seeing your environment, everything out in front of you, where you take your walks, you know, it helps you psychologically feel better about the condition you're dealing with. And that is another thing. You know, it's fun to get in your truck and take your bike to some great trails that are 20 or 30 miles away, up to a lake, out to a reservoir. But that 10 miles around you, how well do you really know it? How well? Don't you think it'd be a good idea to be walking that? Driving it's one thing. Seeing it on a map is one thing. Driving it's another. But actually walking it. Ground level. Right? Basically at a snail's pace. You will get to see things you wouldn't otherwise see. You'll see the environment, the terrain. You'll see hidey holes. Right? You may see some resources. Water. Who knows what you're going to see. You're also going to see the people, right? The people you're going to be dealing with when shit hits the fan. If you're taking walks in your 10-mile radius around you, you're going to see the area you're going to be dealing with and the people that are coming out of it. Right? You take an area that you've never really been to and walk it, you may see some shit that'll open your eyes. Right? It may scare you a bit. Holy shit, I didn't know this was over here. Hopefully you find some good things too, but for the most part, you can count on some bad shit being discovered. And you're going to be that much more prepared. You'll be able to incorporate that into your plan. It is critical. And there's something else. This is an interesting thing that happened today. I had 2 people, one that I knew and one that I didn't, knew who I was from this channel. Right? One guy was at my work. I've never met him before. He walks up and goes, "You look familiar. Are you that guy on YouTube?" And I said, "That's me." He says, "Well, I'm an ex-Marine." Or he says, "I'm a Marine too." Whatever he said. I'm a jarhead. We shook hands, said Semper Fi, and then he walked off. Didn't say another word. Right? I don't know if he's a local. I don't know if he's just passing through and managed to see me. But people recognize each other. and I'm not just saying because I've been on YouTube that I'm recognizable, people are going to be able to recognize other things about you. Oftentimes, us military guys can see other military guys. Military manner, behavior, posture, attitude, right? It makes a difference. As a prepper, you're going to put off an air, right? So it might help you on your walks. As you go around, go through neighborhoods, look around at the environment, you may see and notice other preppers, right? You're not out there looking and spying, trying to stare in people's garages, but you might see some clues that would lead you to an understanding that there are other preppers in your area. And that can only be a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Right? You can go to them if you need help, right? Who knows how it'll play out. But it'd be better to have that information than not. And the other person that saw me, someone I've known for over 15 years, was at a furniture store, and she says, you know, my husband thinks that's you, and he watches these videos. And I said, I think I know that guy. Anyways, very nice lady, known her a long time. I said, you're ready for Armageddon, aren't you? She goes, oh yeah, we're ready. Great, great, right? So get your ass out there. Get in shape. Test your footwear out. Break it in. Make sure it's satisfactory. Don't just do the exercise, get in better shape. Use it as a chance to do some recon. See where stuff is at. See where the people are at. See what their attitudes are like. And maybe even find some more preppers in your 10-mile radius. So for now, I'm going to sign out. I got to put this camera down, and I'm going to start doing some running, because I've worked up to run jog. My knees seem to be in pretty good shape for a 49-year-old guy. I'm going to put in some miles now, or maybe some faster, harder miles. Anyways, you guys be cool. I want to thank you, literally thank you guys for hanging with me so often, right? I've got my channels, and lots of them that I like to tune into. And when I don't get material from them, yeah, I get disappointed. I'm like, dang, that guy has good stuff. Or that person, you know, has good reports and great interviews. Or she has a unique perspective I like to hear. You know, so I want to thank you guys for hanging with me. And I hope that I continue to provide good information for you, so that you can be ready for when shit hits the fan. So, chance favors the prepared mind and the prepared feet. Get out there and get it done, right? One of these days I'll do some cadence for you guys, but not today. Anyways, be cool. I'll talk to you again. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi, and Godspeed to you all. See you tomorrow.